Hey everybody, on this episode of the Superstore After Show, we're breaking down Season 2, Episode 4, Guns, Pills, and Birds. We're going to find out, are crows really cool to hang out with? Let's do this.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Oh, look at that! Hey everybody, welcome to the Superstore After Show here on AFTERBUZZ TV. We're going to be breaking down Season 2, Episode 4 of this season. There are Guns, Pills, and Birds. We just got that sweet Superstore theme just on loop. Love it. All right. Folks, I'm one of your hosts, Frank Moran. You can follow me on Twitter at HappyGoJackie.
Hi, I'm Kelsey Hightower, and you can follow me online on social media at Kelsey Hightower.
Hey everyone, I'm Alina Vission. You can follow me on all social media at Alina Vission, and that's Vision with 2 S's.
Hi guys, I'm Tara Erickson. You can find me on YouTube /Tara Erickson, and I'll be on the live chat, which is why I always mess up the audio here, because you always hear it come on my phone.
And, as Tara was saying, she's going to be in the live chat. So in the meantime, why don't you like us on Facebook, give us those 5 stars on iTunes. You can also subscribe to the YouTube channel, as well as hopping in the chat. Tara's going to have that up. She'll be sharing your comments and thoughts about Superstore, or if you just want to ask us some really just inappropriate questions about the morning after pill or crows or what kind of guns we have in our own home.
Right.
Things like that, yes. So we kick off this episode, Guns, Pills, and Birds, with, as usual, the morning meeting over there at Cloud 9. Mm-hmm. If you guys if any job that you've had that has like a morning meeting, do you guys like that part of the day? Do you oh man, or do you kind of milk the meeting so you don't have to do more work? Or you're like, this is just terrible. Why are we wasting our time with this terrible meeting?
I think at first you try to milk the meeting, but then after day after day after day, you're just like, oh, I'm so over this. It's the same thing every day.
Yeah,
up
you
a
just
little
don't
later
pay
every
attention.
time.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It becomes like your coffee time. Mm-hmm. Where you're like, morning meeting. It really is just like me getting my coffee and zoning out.
Yeah. Say whatever you want. I'm just going to ignore it. Yep.
If it's a job like that. Now, if it's a job where you have to be on it, then that's a little bit different. But a job like that,
Yeah.
Well, interesting with this, because we see everybody kind of getting shifted around it in different positions.
Mm-hmm.
First time we're going to see people get shift assignments. So Jonah's going to be over at the gun counter, which I often forget. I mean, if you're thinking of a big box store in certain parts of the country, you can just go and buy some guns if you want. Yeah. But he doesn't really enjoy guns at all. Kind of morally opposed to them, so he doesn't want to be behind the gun counter. Seems like the worst guy you'd want to put back there. Would you guys want to work behind the gun counter?
No.
No.
I'm with Jonah on this one. I totally saw myself in him tonight. I was like, yeah. I'd be like, ooh, you can't. I don't know if you can have a gun. You don't seem too stable. I don't know.
But would you always compare it to fencing? Because that's what he did.
Yeah, right?
He's like, he tries to get people to turn to fencing. And I'm like, really? Fencing?
Have you ever fenced before? I don't know.
It's a lost art. I don't know. Who does fencing now?
Who does fencing?
You have to have a needlepoint sword. No.
Guys, I've been doing it for years. It is great.
Frank's the one that's on it.
That's right. Guys,
My brother still does fencing.
No.
Yeah?
Yeah, he
Good
did it in school for a little bit at here in the valley. They still teach it out here.
Wow.
I think I remember taking it in PE.
Yeah, that's pretty much what he was doing, and then they made a club.
Right.
After. Yeah.
Where do you find
The only time
after?
I even thought about fencing was on the Parent Trap. That's the only time I've really thought about it. I feel like in my younger years, not at school, not in PE.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, I always thought, pie in the sky, if I became just a filthy, stinking rich, had no other worries in life, I think I'd, even still, then fencing would still be pretty low on the totem pole of things I want to do in my life. But I think it would move on to, the list of, things I can do now. I can learn how to fence.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah.
But it'd still be pretty low.
No, Jonah is about it.
Yeah, that's right. Yes.
Yeah.
But I can see Jonah being about it. He's the type of guy, that would totally be into it.
He's great with a needlepoint sword.
For sure. Yes, that's his thing.
All right, so Garrett, when he says that, though, says, all right, I'm going to write this down with keeping a whole list of crazy white things that you say. So he includes boat shoes, BBC America, and that he makes his own trail mix. How many of, how many of us heard those and say, all right, that's me. I watch BBC America. I wear boat shoes. I make my own trail mix.
I feel like
America.
they have some good programming on.
Yeah.
That's true. I'm on it.
Yeah.
BBC is legit. I felt like
is.
a podcast should have been added to that list.
Yeah.
And then I would be like, totally guilty.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
I'm assuming, Kelsey, you make your own trail mix.
Puppy chow.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
That's close enough, right?
Absolutely, yes.
Yep.
It's like the basic white girl thing, you know,
Yes.
that's going around. I feel like that's Jonah and myself. Guilty.
Interesting.
And I do like Myrtle. I feel like Myrtle got a nice little spotlight on her this episode, where her first main complaint is that she doesn't want to sell rice anymore because there's no taste to it. What's going on with this thing?
That was fun.
I love her. Even from like 2 episodes before when they were having like the strike and she said, you guys need to move closer to my home. That's why she's like, I love this character. Because we haven't seen Cheyenne and I feel like she's kind of taking that place a little bit,
Yes.
like the crazy one-liners.
Yeah.
And I like her. I can't wait to see more from her in the season.
And I also felt like she was about to be like, because the Ori, isn't that what she
Yeah.
said?
Yeah.
She's like, because, and they're like, hey, just relax, you racist old lady.
Exactly. Where's this going?
Yes.
Yeah.
For an older woman, they call somebody a D-bag. I'm just like, all right.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
solid.
Yeah.
Like, we need to be bros.
But Amy's fed up, says, all right, that's it. Nobody gets to switch their positions there. She originally was going to let Jonah go until everybody started complaining. Everybody stick with your positions. That's what you're doing. And then usually during the episode, during the series, we always have like these runners of like little vignettes about people in the store having some kind of weird moment there. But this time we kind of made it a runner, which I did like. That it was a crow getting into the store and just seeing what happens when that crow starts kind of flying around and how people react to it.
Right.
Did you guys like the idea of having the runner be kind of constant, or do you like the idea of just every so often in the episode you get in those little moments that really don't connect but show you kind of life in the Superstore?
I like both, but I really liked when they switch it up. It keeps it fresh, and I think we've had that the last couple episodes. The little cuckoo crazy people like it was the twins the last episode, I think, in the mirror. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Oh, that was kind of crazy. But yeah, I like when they keep it going, especially with Dina's character, because she softened up, I felt like, in this episode, rather than being like the tough, strong, like dictator sort of person. She's like, save the animals.
That's very true.
Yeah, that was totally
Yeah.
different for her. Normally, she's the
For
one
sure.
that'd be like, let's take out the gun and shoot it.
Exactly.
And that was
And
Mateo, which was kind of crazy. But I have to say, I felt Garrett. Like, I have a fear of birds.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Because you can't tell them no. You can't tell them stop. Like, like you can like a dog and a cat.
Yeah.
They're just like wild and they fly at you. They'll poop on your hair like they did on Amy. I mean, they're just crazy. So I'm with Garrett on this one.
Has a bird ever pooped on any of you guys before?
No.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I mean,
That on my head, though, did land on my arm, but not on my head.
how do you get through life without a bird pooping on your head? What?
Guys, you're missing out.
Yeah.
Missing out. That's gonna have to be on my bucket list, I guess, right, Frank? No.
Add it to
No.
it.
It's supposed to be
Yeah.
good luck.
Pooped on your head?
If they
Yeah,
poop on
like
you.
twice.
It
It's
is?
supposed to be good
Yeah,
luck.
apparently if a seagull poops on you, it's supposed to be good luck.
All right, well, I guess I'll be hanging out at Santa Monica tomorrow.
Oh, jeez.
I
Wealth
had
of
a
information.
bird poop right on my nose.
What?
Ooh.
It was disgusting. I don't even have that big of a nose, but it hit spot on
Wow,
at a
man.
track meet.
Did any?
in middle school.
no.
Oh, did it splatter on the upper lip into
No,
maybe
it
the
didn't.
mouth?
I was thinking that same thing. I was thinking
Yeah.
that. I was so close, it can't not have just even a little
I know.
bit.
Just a little.
No, I
Your
just
mouth is
remember
closed.
I think I was probably asleep, and it just like went straight down. Oh, it was disgusting.
Gnarly.
I guess I just haven't lived yet.
I
know.
Now we find out though, Amy, she's buying a bunch of frozen pizzas because she is excited. Her husband Adam's gonna be taking their daughter away for a Girl Scout trip, so she's gonna have the whole weekend to herself.
Woo woo.
Yeah, so buying a bunch of frozen pizzas, and you got to buy a bunch, like 12, because you never know, it might overcook, might burn, the cheese might be bad.
Right.
I've never seen anybody do that many backup frozen pizzas before.
I feel like I need to start doing this when I start cooking.
Mm-hmm.
Like burn. If not a good cook, if you burn things, I feel like I should do this. Like buy extra macaroni and cheeses just in case.
Man, I think I'd like to come over and eat with you, Kelsey, because you were cooking some good
I
food
would.
over there. Mac and cheese? Yeah, I'm down. I'm down.
Solid.
All
I know how to
right.
cook spaghetti and cereal. That's on.
There
my
you
list.
go.
Cooking cereal.
Yeah.
There you go.
That might
And trail mix. No.
be. Yeah, making that puppy chow.
Yeah.
Yes.
I also feel like it's not a backup. I'm like, dude, you're going to eat all 12. You have the whole weekend. That's like, what, 4 pizzas a day if you're counting that night.
Yeah.
Maybe you get a couple in there after work because you're stressed, and then
she's gonna have the wine, so then she's gonna want to eat.
You can have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's called pizza all day, every day for the weekend.
Yeah.
All right. So
No judgment.
as we're talking around here, with no judgment at all,
None.
when was the last time you either had a day off or a weekend off where you just had it all to yourself? You could do whatever you want. What did you eat?
Oh man.
She's like, this. I wouldn't be eating this regularly, but I've got the whole time. Nobody's gonna judge me. I'm just gonna put this all in my mouth.
There was one time that I did go to Dunkin' Donuts, and you
was
know
gonna
when
say, I
you
went to
look at
Krispy
it,
Kreme.
see, and you're like, there's no way you can't buy 12 because it's like 50 cents more to
Right,
get 12.
and you're already there, and there's a line, so you might as well.
Totally, and then you're there, and the donuts, when they're fresh, they're the best.
They're fresh. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
and so you just have to finish them.
And you totally justify everything.
Yeah. And when
Yeah.
people ask to come over, you're like, no, I'm so busy.
I did
Really,
that too.
I have a lot
totally
going
did that
on.
too. But really, you're just on your couch with your Netflix and your
Yeah.
wine and your donuts.
Yeah,
Yes,
totally. That's
girl.
living the dream.
You're talking my language.
That's it, no. I know what they were doing was they're doing like buy a dozen, get a dozen free over Krispy Kreme. So I'd get and you do the hot now, of course. So
Right.
get the dozen, get the backup dozen. There, I eat the one dozen right there in the store because it's all hot, like a pig. And just sit there and just ate it all myself. And then I went home and then I ate the other dozen. It's just, whew, it was good
See?
stuff.
That's
Yeah,
so good.
Kelsey.
Oh, I'm more of a pizza. I do pizza.
All right.
I will say I've been at the house working from home this week, and my lunches have been chips and salsa and crackers and hummus. That's like
Yummy.
all-
There you
I
go.
mean, it's
snacky.
You're
Yeah,
doing
but-
a lot of
yeah.
dip action.
It's been a lot of dips.
Yeah.
It's been a few bags of chips.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
maybe not proud of. It's fine. It's whatever. It's fine. It's fine.
Now, one person that's not really enjoying the crow, which I didn't think, given just how cool he is Garrett. He freaks out when that crow flies by him. He screams a little bit on the PA system, but he tries to cover it up by saying, I have a lot of cool sneakers and an active sex life. Is that was just going to erase like, oh, okay, yeah, I understand. That's cool, yeah. You're fine then.
You can scream like that.
It's still cool.
A lot of cool sneakers? All right, man. That's great. Okay, cool. But yeah, you're right. It's we see Jonah at the gun counter. Basically, just a series of him just denying people left and right.
Yeah.
So I felt like the first guy seemed really normal. So I couldn't see him saying no to him. But then it just seemed like subsequently it just kept getting a bit more bizarre and more bizarre as the day went on. What point would you have stopped and said like, all right, I'm tapping out. No gun for you.
Oh, wow. I don't know. I kind of feel like Jonah. Like if somebody told me they just got fired from a job and they're really upset, and I'd be like, maybe you can wait a minute.
But the way he was so nonchalant about that too, it's like,
Right.
yeah, I just got laid off. I'm really angry about it. They're gonna regret that.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
So nonchalant, I'm like, oh, all right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
He just automatically went to like service denied, and he's like yelling it like he's afraid, which I'm like, he's probably just going camping. He wants to like shoot some beer cans or something. I don't know. That's what guys do when they're stressed, right?
Oh yeah, man,
They're
I'm
like,
totally man.
beer
Yeah.
cans, shoot them up.
Yeah, so I spend my weekend. I just polish up my 2 dozen boxes of Christmas trees, and then I head out into the woods and shoot my gun.
Yeah. Totally see that.
That's it.
I see that happening.
Thank you. I Instagram it. Follow me on Instagram, guys. I do that whole thing. Yeah, I felt like the guy that was talking to himself.
Right,
I
yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
all right.
Everyone else probably, could have had a gun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially I felt bad for the redhead guy. It's like, no, because redhead's a fire rating.
Yeah.
Poor redhead
be
guy.
like
Poor redhead.
That would be such a hard situation to be in, though, to be like, I don't want to give you a gun, but what do I do? I'm supposed to,
Aren't there background checks?
Yeah.
Now I
Isn't
think
there
there
like waiting
are.
periods and background checks? Yeah.
Maybe not at
Maybe not at Cloud 9.
No.
Cloud
But
Nine.
you
That's
just
their that's their
walk
big
in.
marquee thing. No,
Yeah.
we don't check on you.
Exactly.
Buy a
Yeah.
gun.
Yeah.
And as we see people having some issues with the show, we find out that Glenn's big issue is that he finds out just nonchalant that he's still the morning after pill at the pharmacy. And we get to see our man Tate, the pharmacist. I'm glad to see him back. He is. I do like that he has a house in Tampa that's about 12 miles from the beach.
Yes.
Sweet spot. And he's got a lot of morning after pills out there. So seems like Tate's somebody you want to party with, right? Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. No?
No.
Because
Bit
it's
of
12
trouble.
miles from the beach. That's a sweet spot.
12
It
miles.
is. I mean, apparently Tampa calls for a lot of morning after. I mean, that's how he made it sound. He's like,
Yeah.
it's in Tampa. And it's just like, I felt like that's all
that's
he was
it?
going to say. Like,
Yep.
it's in
Yeah.
Tampa. And everyone's like, oh, yeah, I get it. No problem.
Sweet
Take
spot,
'em.
man. Yeah.
Has a reputation.
Yeah.
Tampa does.
Yeah.
Now, I feel like Glenn, of course, doesn't want them to sell the pill, which seems, I mean, certainly I know he has his moral beliefs against that, but I feel like you're also at a retail store, so you can't, to put your beliefs in front of everything else seems like not the smartest move.
Yeah.
To even cut in front of the couple that's trying to buy it. Just like, and then he buys all of them. Like, come on, Glenn, what is this?
And then he tries to sell them.
He does,
Too
man.
expensive.
Yeah. Drug dealer Glenn.
I feel like that's always Glenn, though, getting in there with his morality, just with everything.
Well, because his idea of buying them all seems like, all right, that's going to solve the problem. But then when he brings up the total, it's like $1,127. I did not realize how expensive those pills were. So when he reads that total, I'm like, what? Jeez Louise.
Yep.
Yeah, for all those.
Yeah.
$50 a pill, I guess.
Oof.
Rough city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, all right.
I mean, maybe
All right.
I mean, I assume maybe he thinks the price tag will steer him away. Now that he learns that
Yes.
it's like $50 and he tries to return them, now he's like,
return.
okay, I get it. Like, that's $50, these people. Maybe he's thinking they must really need it. I don't know. His morality in level is probably never going to change because it's Glenn. But hey, yeah.
Well, we see him trying to make his argument by trying to pull up pictures of his kids on his phone, and he's got to have he's written down the notes on how to open up his phone and get to the Pictures app.
Yeah.
Oh,
Do you have
love it.
any members of your family or any friends that are just as clueless when it comes to like handheld technology like that?
Oh, yeah. And they always have to find their glasses, and they never know where they're at. And they're like, hold on, I need it. And you're like, oh, my
They're
God.
around here somewhere.
And you always have to work them through step by step. First, you open the phone. That's the home button. You go there
Yeah.
first. Rough.
Yeah. Yeah. There's always a couple
Right?
in the family. Yeah.
What is this cloud? What is this
Yes.
cloud that you talk of?
Where is it? Cloud.
Where does my info go?
I wish I could just see it.
Yeah.
I also like that Sandra, she can't even talk about vomit without vomiting herself. She just can't, even just the thought of it is going to make her go. And some great acting by Sandra in
Yes,
there.
because
Yeah.
that made me want to vomit.
I
Those
thought
sounds.
that was, yeah.
She was gagging. Yeah.
I feel like I can be like that sometimes, or if you smell it, like if somebody has
Yeah,
thrown up and then you
definitely
can
if you
smell
smell
it,
it.
you're just,
The worst.
Yeah, I've never had that.
bad.
I've never had that like chain reaction effect to me. I think I can do all right around it and smell it without having to be like, oh, I'm gonna lose it too. So, guys, feel free to puke around me.
Yeah, just
Really
like
cool stuff.
he can
can
go
hold
to
it
the
together.
vomit fest. We, however, cannot.
no.
Cool. Where is that? When I
Yeah,
can I get tickets
it's
for that?
in LA.
Vomit. That vomit. I'm gonna write that down.
2016.
Sounds sweet. All right, guys. I'll be Snapchatting there all day. It's gonna be so much fun.
Ew. Unfollow.
Guys, it's gonna be really cool. Then we get Amy's. It seems like her weekend's gonna be thrown on a whack though because Adam calls because he got sweet tickets to the Entrepreneur Conference.
Oh, Adam.
Yeah, and we.
I think
Yeah.
this is where it begins.
Yeah.
Yes.
And everyone else is kind of in on it too. They're like, why don't you
know.
just sleep together? Why don't you just have an affair?
See? Well, they won't. They.
Exactly.
I predicted that
Yeah.
2 weeks ago. I said episode
right.
7. We're at
Yes.
4 now. I'm just
Oh.
saying, ooh,
It's
hey.
happening.
Yeah, well, I mean, I do have some inside scoop that as the series goes on this season, more and more people start to make these kind of comments. People start kind of noticing the connection. So, as far as I know, nothing's actually happened yet, but people are really starting to notice more. So, I feel like we're definitely heading in that direction.
Yes.
I just like that the other employees are making comments about it,
Yeah.
noticing and
Yeah.
putting little things out there. It's like, just do it already, get together, all that stuff. So I like that. I like that they notice.
When they do it in the meeting, and it was Mateo. When he throws it out, I do like Jonah and Amy's reaction, like "ew." Even
Yeah.
like they're saying, like, "Ew, no, we wouldn't do that." Ew,
Like they're in
ew."
kindergarten.
Yeah.
Cuties. Ew. But you really like them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you say ooh, it's like a major sign that you're totally into them.
Yeah,
Like the
that's
second
it.
you're like, ew, and you're like, you're in love with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We find that Dina's Mateo's idea, as they're trying to get that crow out of there, is to put bird feed all over the floor. Hope the idea is that the bird follows that and then leads it right out the store. Instead, it brings a bunch more crows inside there. And I do like that we get the little one vignette of the kid just standing there looking at the mannequins with all those crows just draped across it.
Oh.
And Jonah finally refuses to a guy that's really big into the NRA. He says, that's it. And he brings in a protest. So then all of a sudden we have like a nice little standoff there where the guy's protesting there on one of the counters. Jonah trying to defend his point of view. Amy getting fed up, doing her little moment where she always kind of delivers like her little speech every episode. And I do like that the guy calls her out. She's like, why don't you we can't hear you. Just why don't you get up there? Get up there too. to. Let's see that big moment. So in all of this, who do you guys side with? Was Amy right that just Jonah and the NRA guy just needed to be grown-ups? Was Amy just basically taking out her feelings towards Adam out on those guys? What do you think?
I mean, it's kind of true. I can side with Amy on this, I feel like, because I think they're trying to show both extremes of the spectrum. You see the NRA and everything that's happening in politics right now with the gun control or what they want, what people want to do with guns. And so you see Jonah, who's like, probably no guns, nobody has guns. And then the NRA, everybody has guns. And then you have Amy, who's saying, let's be adults, like, let's... just be mature about this. If you're angry, you don't have to whip out your guns, like all that kind of stuff. So I can kind of see that perspective and kind of side with her on that.
Yeah.
This is a bold episode. I really am impressed with this episode that they brought up so many different things, like bringing up gun control and everything. But
yeah, gun control, the morning after pill.
I know.
Everything. Yeah, I definitely side with Amy too. I think everyone just needs to be grown-ups about the whole situation. There's always a happy medium in the middle. You can have your gun and or if you don't want a gun, you don't have to have a gun. It's all up to you. You just be an adult about it, about the situation. And I think Glenn needs to be an adult about the situation too.
All right, so
Glenn will never be an adult about the situation, which is funny.
Yeah.
say you're in that couple situation. So Glenn cuts in front of you, buys up all the morning after pills. Then he comes back to you later in the store and says, hey, do you guys want to just still buy one of these pills? Would you buy a pill from Glenn right there? Or you're like, no way, dude. I'm not
I'd
going
be
to help
like
you.
$25.
$2.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
That's where you finally, the power's in your hands at that
Straight
point.
up,
Right.
straight
Yes.
up discount right there on
Yeah.
the spot. Yeah. Totally. Yeah.
Now, there was one moment where we were talking about Amy and Jonah. Like, as they're kind of like racing back there, as they're like, I'm going to go back to the gun counter, or not do that. As they're kind of checking, I thought for some moments something was going to happen there. Because it seemed kind of weird that cut. They see them kind of walking down, and then that was it. I was like,
Touchy
oh, yeah. I thought something was
She
going
put
to
her
happen.
hand up,
Yes.
Something.
And Jonah apologizes for his action, and so, but Amy's thing is, are you apologizing because you're genuinely sorry about this, or do you feel sorry for me, and that's why you're going to do this and go back to the gun counter? So for you, is that distinction important? Do you understand like where Amy's coming from? Like, yeah, are you apologizing because you feel sorry for me, or are you just apologizing because you sincerely believe this?
Yeah, I feel like she's definitely, it's a mirroring situation between her and Jonah, that she's mirroring like her husband, the way that they bicker and stuff. Throughout this episode, you're like, dude, she's totally taking out on him. And then I feel like maybe she's cooled down and is like, I don't want your pity, because she's still probably upset. But I think at the same time, when you like someone, you don't want their pity. You just want them to, I don't know. I don't know what the best word would be for that, but yeah, you don't want their pity. You just want them to sort of like you and support you, but you can't say that out loud because it's like drama with hubby and I don't know, like, you know, it's the whole thing with them, with those two. So yeah.
Yeah, it is a whole thing. I think, I don't know, I kind of thought that Jonah was actually doing it a little bit because he felt sorry. Because, you know, when she did say, like, I can't go, I'm not going to have my whole weekend to myself, blah, blah, blah. Like, you see the expression in his face was like, oh, like, you know, because she really wanted to do that. But then I think he also came to the realization that he was being immature about the whole situation. And it really didn't need to blow up to be as big as it was. And it was upsetting her. And I don't think he ever wants to upset her. So I think he was just kind of being a big person about it.
He's in love
Exactly.
with her.
He likes her.
I'm just worried about those 12 pizzas, guys. What's going to happen to all those pizzas?
Pizza party.
worried.
Well, he's just concerned
That'll be
about
fun. I
Udi's
know.
pizza.
Yeah.
All right, so that is going to start bringing us to the end of this. But before we go, just one quick lightning round of predictions to wrap us all up.
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
I know, Tara, you look at that. You've called your shot for episode 7. Do you have any other
Yeah.
plan? You just want to stick with that?
I'm gonna stick with 7. We're at 4. We got 5, 6, and then 7. I mean, we're doing the touchy feely in the aisles now. So then it's like it's like the touchy feely, and then maybe it's a little more out in the open, maybe a little bit harder eye contact. Then maybe it's like, I don't know, where they maybe go in for a kiss. Somebody interrupts them because it's always in TV.
Right, yeah.
But 7 is when it's gonna go down.
All right.
I'm siding with her on 7. I think.
Really?
I can kind of feel. I feel like they're gonna have one of those kissing moments, but then it's gonna get interrupted.
Yes.
Because didn't they have that last season too? Was there something
There's that where they're-
close to that?
Yeah, where they're sitting in that back room there.
Right,
Yes, and they're
exactly.
really next close to each other. I thought for a moment something was going to happen
Right. So I think this, like in episode 7,
Yeah.
it'll be even closer than it was before, but it won't happen, obviously. Yeah. But I think she's going to get really fed up with her husband this season.
Yeah.
She might kick him to the curb.
He's at
Adam
an
might
entrepreneur
get kicked
conference.
out.
Come on. He's trying to make things
For his
happen.
his grilling, his YouTube.
Yeah, he wants to.
Long-form grilling content.
Exactly.
Kelsey?
Well, I'm gonna side with you ladies on this. Of course, there's gonna be some romance, I think, as well. I was trying to think about what else that is gonna come up in the next couple episodes. I think Glenn will probably continue being Glenn, and maybe we'll see some more political or touchy subjects come out of him, maybe soon in the next couple episodes. I don't know. How about that?
I like that. I predict that Amy and Jonah will be using that morning after pill by episode 16.
Oh, hey. Look at you. And then
Full circle.
I have to give a shout out to someone joined the chat, and they said crows are quite intelligent. And he said, I know a story about a girl that took care of a crow, and they started bringing her stuff. So and then look at Garrett at the end with the French fries, right? And he's pouring his heart out to the crow because the crow eats his French fries. So I don't know. Maybe the crow's going to be bringing him cool stuff to help with his sex life and his shoes.
Well, because apparently crows, they just have a higher intelligence than most birds. So if you feed one over and over and over, like at a park or something, they'll always recognize you and they'll come back to you.
Crazy.
You're just a wealth of information.
I'm just
Alexis Torres killing it. In the
Random
booth.
stuff is what happens when I just have the internet at my fingertips. So I'm usually eating a Costco-sized pizza and looking around at internet stuff. That's what I do by myself.
All right, let's hang out with Alexis. All right, she's got it
She's
going
our
on.
lifeline.
Yes.
Hey.
So I think we can take away a lot of great things from this episode. So first, most importantly, guys, just make friends with crows. They're gonna pay you back 100-fold, and then learn. You guys could really consider fencing, And I'll see you all at Vomit Fest. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So that's gonna do it for this episode of the Superstore After Show here on AfterBuzz TV. But like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on the YouTube channel, give us those 5 stars on iTunes, and if you want to continue the conversation with us even after the show's over, Tara, where can they find you?
They can find me on Twitter at the Tara Erickson or YouTube /Tara Erickson.
And you guys can find me on all social media at Alina Vision, and that's Vision with 2 S's.
And I'm Kelsey Hightower, and you can find me all over social media at Kels Hightower.
And you can follow me on Twitter at HappyGoJackie. We'll see you next week with another episode of the Superstore After Show right here on AfterBuzz TV. Bye, everybody.
Executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff. We would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.